Can you hear me, David?
Hi, Marika.
Hi there. Who am I speaking to?
It's Donna.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
Hello, Bookie. I'm so sorry.
Thanks. Yeah, it's very, very
Alexa,
sad.
stop. It's my
Hey?
alarm. It's just my alarm that's just gone off. Alexa, stop. How are you holding up, honey?
Not very
Right.
long. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Marix. Hello, David. Hello, Donna.
Hello.
Rich, I can see everyone. I can't. I can see everyone. I can't.
My camera's off. Is your camera perhaps not on?
Oh, okay.
Everyone else's cameras are off.
No, I just want to know.
Marika, can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay, great. And can you see your mum and Johan?
Can't.
We can see you.
Now I can see them.
Okay, so swipe to the left, Marika, and you should be able to get a gallery view.
To the left. Okay, got you. Thank you, David.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
And then if you wanted to select non-video participants off, that would give you more screen space, but that might be a bit kind of technical as well.
Okay, cool.
Let's all right. Okay, so good morning, everyone. We'll start in 13 minutes, and I'll just put some music on in the background. Does that work for everyone?
Cool.
That's good.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything before we start? No?
Just thank you for organizing this.
Yeah.
It's
volume.
It's a pleasure. Okay, let's have a look here.
Moet ik voor dit maken?
Volume, please.
Can you hear me if I talk?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, just letting people in, and then I'll play that song again. Good morning, Manasseh. You're muted, Manasseh.
Good morning, everyone. Morning, Dave.
Morning, Manasseh.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So, Manasseh is going to say Manasseh would like to say something. Mareka would like to say something. Johan Esterhazen would like to say something. And Anna would like to say something. And then Mark Mamone would like to read a poem towards the end. Is there anyone else that specifically wants to say something? Or are we happy to just kind of go for all? Okay. If people do want to say something, raise their hand using the little emoji thingamajig at the bottom, or raise your hand like that, and then I'll try and manage it. Okay. Here comes Jappy. Morning, Mark.
Hello, David.
Hi, great. All right, so just if people aren't talking, if you could just mute. Yep.
Uh,
So Mark, you're going to come in with a poem later, yeah?
yeah, I'll read a poem.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I had a look through last night, and rather than the most appropriate poem, I'm choosing John Cooper Clarke. It's probably the least inappropriate poem, but I'll read a poem.
Okay,
I thought
great.
I'd help you, David. I know you've been thrown in the deep end.
That's fine. All right, I'm going to play some music in the background as we let people in. All right.
Okay, no problem. I'll mute.
What did you do now? It's really scribbled.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we can.
Morning.
Okay. So we've got a couple of minutes to go. Just letting people in.
Nice, David. I didn't know you could play the piano. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's
Not just a pretty face.
Yeah.
well, funny you should say that. All right. So I'm going to stream it now to Facebook. So there's a copy of it, and then I'll also make a recording for after for the family. So the family have a copy of this. Hello, Anna. Hello, Ros. Welcome. Yeah. I hope this all works, by the way.
Yeah.
Ja. Huh? Ja.
So if you're comfortable with renaming yourself, maybe you want to put your name there and where you're phoning from or dialing in from, if you're okay with that. So I'm coming in from London. And the whole idea of this is for people to come together and to connect that will be unable to attend an official in-person memorial in Cape Town. Yeah, so my alarm's going off, excuse
Yes,
me.
we can.
Hello, Ninka, Johan.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hi.
Sê vir jou so groot drukkie vir julle albei.
Dankie, dankie, baie dankie. Pragtige sinne.
Paula is hier saam met my. Wanneer laat jy Paula gesien? Wil jy by my kom sit? Ja, by my. Okay. Okay. Sal ek maar dan myne afsit? Ja, afsit. Ja.
Ja, 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 ja.
Onthou julle nog vir Paula, Ninka?
Ja, natuurlijk. Natuurlijk doet hij zo. Het is Paula.
It's Paula.
Ja,
Okay.
ik heb daar neergekeken.
Long time no see.
Ja.
Ja, Williams.
Ella ligt bij ons voeten.
Ah,
Ja, bij mijn voeten ligt ze.
you know.
I do hope this is working, but we'll just go with it. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome from London. Should we leave it a minute or two for people to join still? Or should we jump straight off?
I think so. I don't know.
There are little pings still coming along.
All right.
I haven't seen
All right.
Anna.
Yeah,
So, well, why don't I just leave it open and you can all kind of wave at each other? Or I can play some background music. Let's do the wavy thing.
Nou zitten we bij elkaar. Dus,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure it's all the Cape Townian people that are coming in late.
Dat is zo zeker. Dat is zo zeker.
Links gaan Marijke kan join.
Marijk's is my.
Maar ek
I
is
think
hier
it's
so.
here somewhere.
Yeah.
Ek kan nêrens sien nie. So,
Swipe to your left, Yolanda.
okay. Hey David, long time my friend.
I
Long
can
time.
see you, Yolanda.
I think if you go gallery view, are you on a phone?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Might be a bit hard because we're getting a good turnout. I don't know if that's an appropriate thing to say, but it's it's certainly an indication of how much Johan was loved. Oh, and I feel quite sad when I say that.
Ek is sê in die kan ek sien.
Ek sien
Okay.
dit as baie mense.
All right, so let's start. Yeah, so let me start by thanking everyone for coming. This hasn't really been planned, as with the loss of Johan wasn't planned. It was kind of very sudden and tragic. I got a call from Ros last Thursday, and I knew when I got the call something was wrong, but I didn't realize that it was this. And then I sat with the shock and the feelings of it, and I just thought, well, let's do something to remember Johan by. Yeah, and this is really putting something together so that his friends and family, if they want, can come together just to remember something. And for Anna, we really wanted to just kind of create something that is here to remember your father and how much he was loved by everyone, especially me. And we have a long journey together, and this stuff's hard, you know. So the idea of this was to just kind of put this together to help me personally process some of the feelings that come up around this. Yeah, I've got lots of mixed feelings. I've got a lot of sadness. I've got a little bit of anger, but mostly I've got a lot of joy for the friendship I had with Johan. I think I met Johan when he was 14 in Marmion Road with Johan Stradom. And, you know, I think Johan was 57 when he passed. Is that correct? How old was Johan?
57.
57. So that's a long time for me personally. And one of the I don't want to say one of the beautiful things that's happened with this WhatsApp group and just putting this on is how connected Johan was and how many people from around the world are wanting to come together to remember him. And yeah, so this is what the idea was. It's I'm certainly not a professional in this sort of area on how to put on ceremonies or send-offs. So this is impromptu and just kind of making it up as we go along. But yeah, I think if Johan was here, he would be happy that this is happening. So I thought what we do is we'd start with just some words from family members. And Anna, if you're okay to say something first, and then maybe Ros, and then Johanna Esterhazen, and then Mareka. I'm making this up as I go along, so if you want to change the order in any way, please do. But why don't we start with that and then see where this goes? Is that all right for everyone? Yeah.
Sounds excellent, yes.
Okay. So Anna, can I hand over to you?
So many words I could use to describe my dad, but some of the ones that could come to mind are kind, hardworking, a little strange, and definitely funny. but above all, he was the best dad I could have asked for. There are a few things you might not know about him, though. For one, his favorite color was green, not a big surprise if you knew him. He had a way of seeing the world differently. He was the type of person who could find beauty in the smallest things. He loved reggae music, and his favorite was Lee Scratch Perry. When his music was on, the room kind of just came alive. It was like nothing else mattered in that moment. He also loved lime milkshakes. I don't think he could ever say no to one. He loved camping and would always take me. I think it was just because he loved being in the nature and cycling around everywhere. Hiking was also a big passion of his, and he would take any opportunity to be up on the mountain with the people he loved, trying to educate anyone who would listen about the plants growing there. But more than anything, my dad had this way of really appreciating the little things. He'd pick up anything that made him happy, a cool stone, a unique leaf, or just some little trinket. It didn't matter if it was worth anything. If it brought him joy, he'd keep it. One of my favorite memories is when I was little and he'd put me on his feet and we'd dance together. I can still remember the laughter, the warmth of his hands, and the way he'd move to the music. Even though I'm older now, I still carry that feeling with me. Those moments of pure happiness that he gave me. And of course, he loved his plants. He'd tend to them like they were his kids, and Ella, our dog, his friend. He had this gentle, caring way about him that made everything around him feel good. My dad's heart was full of love, laughter, and kindness. He wasn't perfect, but he was perfect for me. He leaves behind a legacy of finding beauty in everyday things and sharing that joy with people around him. I'm going to miss him more than I can ever say, but I'm so thankful for everything he gave me. He made life brighter, more interesting, and way more fun.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Lovely.
Let's move on to Roz. Are you okay to go next, Roz?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to say about Johan. He was such a complex, rich character, and I see that in so many things. I see that in his really eclectic music taste. I see that in his really eclectic bunch of friends that he has, and the stories that he had, and the gardens that he did. Even he was such an interesting man with so many things that he was really interested in. And when I look at the plants that were in his house, they were never just one plant in a pot by itself. He made little communities of plants wherever he went, and little collections of things. Anna spoke about the sticks and the stones that he would pick up, but he was so incredibly sentimental. Every time we were somewhere and something special happened or something of significance happened, he would pick up a piece of nature and he would keep it forever. He had a way of looking for deeper meanings in things and infusing objects with significance. He looked for magic around him and he made magic around him. He liked to tweak reality in many ways. He would, in our garden up in Joburg, he had little pieces of mirror stuck into little crooks of branches to reflect light in the leaves of the trees, and we would hum by the compost heap, because if you hum at a certain frequency, the muggies will fly into your face. He was so quirky, and he was so soft. And watching him as a father to Anna, it was just incredible what a soft and kind person he was inside. You know, he was a complex man, but watching him with this little baby, he was just goo inside. You know, he was a good father. In our years of co-parenting, the issues would be when we both wanted to spend more time with Anna. You know, he really, really loved his girl. There's so much to say. I'm going to pass on to somebody else, but he was such a special character, and it was an absolute privilege to spend such a chunk of my life with him. Yeah.
Thank you, Ros. And now we'll go to Johan.
Thank you, David. First of all, obviously a really big shout out to you for drawing all these threads together to weave a tapestry that really does Johan proud. To everyone that has contributed, every photo, every one-liner, every drop of wisdom and love, many thanks. It meant the world to Ninka because it reflected Johan's world. So thanks, first of all, for that. I was thinking what to say about Johan, and to try and pigeonhole him, of course, would not work. To try and give each and every little account of each and every time and moment we spent together would be far too boring and mundane for Johan. And then the thought struck me. Johan is an artist. And that is the way I would like to portray him today. It maybe also accounts somewhat for Johan's very colorful life. I would also say that Johan was a mixed media person. He used so many ways to explore the complexities of his universe. And like all artists, he could hold many facets of his life in his hands at one time. Johan needed to question. He had to question convention. And he used to draw his own conclusions in ways many of us maybe are too scared to explore. But certain blocks were unshakable. His love of nature, just translated into Johan, the landscaping artist, his love of friends, his love of doggies. We have Ella right here with her head resting on Ninka's leg. His love of family. And here I must mention, obviously, his relationship with Ninka, with his mom. Ja, hulle het soms 'n bietjie vasgesit. We can't get away from that. But Ninka was his most ardent supporter. And Johan recognized always the authenticity of a mother's love. Towards Marika, I think the same can be said. Hulle het ook soms 'n bietjie vasgesit. But always, because it came from deep, deep emotional connection and love for the other. Obviously, one cannot but
This meeting is being recorded.
remark on the beautiful relationship that Johan had with Anna Susanna, his daughter. Something quite remarkable, quite special. And in the short time that they spent together, as we've heard from Anna herself, they've formed bridges that will take them into beautiful spaces in different universes at the moment. Till we meet again, as they say. Can I ask just one last little favor? I'm going to ask for 15 seconds pause in everything, that each one of us can maybe just pick one single facet of Johan's life that appealed most to them, that gave them the most joy. And maybe just 15 seconds, and then I'll be finished. Let's just think of that one little facet. Thank you for your artistry, Scapeman.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Thank you. Are we good to move on to you, Marika?
Thank you. Thanks, David. Yeah, Johan du Plooy was not only my beloved brother, but also my best friend. We could talk about anything and sit and philosophize, sit and talk about life for hours and hours. He was my guardian angel. He was my hero. And it feels like part of me died with his passing. We've always been really, really, really close. The family had a nickname for him, Timo. And I always called him Timo. And I'm just going to end off by saying, rest in peace, Timo. I really love you. Thank you.
Marika wanted me to mention something that we spoke about, I think, when they were busy cleaning out the house a few days ago. And I don't think this is something that's generally known. So please, I don't want to upset anybody, but at the last minute, someone phoned in and said, you know, can they donate some of Johan's bone marrow to the bone marrow registry? And I was driving home that day and I was thinking, you know, a lot has been said about Johan, but actually the last thing in his life, his last act was to obviously save somebody else.
Thank you.
And, you know, just like the plants that he did and all the wonderful things he put out there, I think a part of him lives on today in this beautiful way. And he's a hero to people for that. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Would you like to say something? Marika, what's your son's name?
Alexander.
Alexander, would you like to say something about your uncle?
One of my fondest memories was when we went camping. Me and my mom were in a canoe and we fell off. And Han came to save us. was funny but heroic in a way. So yeah, that's one of my fondest memories with him.
Thank you, Alexander. Okay. So let's just give it a couple of seconds just to let that grief, and the momentous loss that we're all kind of feeling here. And Johan, thank you for slowing it down and just taking 15 seconds to just appreciate the magnitude of Johan's personality. Okay, is there anyone else from the family that would like to say anything before we move on to his friends? Yeah. All right. So I put out a message for anyone that wanted to say something, and the first person to respond was Manasseh or Joseph. So do you still want to say something, Joe? You're muted, mate.
Yes, please, mate.
Go for it.
Yeah, Johan. Yeah, I first met him at when I was caretaker / manager at the shop, and there comes this strapping, big, strong guy. He looked you straight in the eyes and shook hand, and yes, my name is Johan. It's yours. I just thought, wow, this guy. He said, yeah, and I told him my name, and after some time, once he settled in, he started coming to me and telling me, about parts of the garden, and he said, he knows a bit about gardening. Can he help do some things? I said, yeah, help yourself, mate, go for it. And he started doing that. It was, and just really, just his, as people have mentioned, his kindness and his love of what he was doing, and I could see it brought him great peace as he was working with with flowers and getting on with things. And then the next most interesting part about him, I lived on the property, so we were basically on the same property together. So in my free time, I'd be in my little room, and I'd have my music on, and of course I played some reggae music, and I heard this knock on my door one day.
Hello.
I thought, oh, maybe I've put the music up too loud or something, and I came there. And there he was, and he had this floppy hat on, and he had this bunch of flowers in his hands. And he says, I just love that music you were playing. Can I give you these? And I thought, once again, this guy surprised me, But it made me realize a lot about, in fact, it helped me a lot, because I realized that there he is, this big, strapping, strong man, and he's a real man, because he made me realize it's not about looking strong and being fit and whatever. He was able to tap into his sensitive side, his real side, his genuine side, and that helped me to do that as well. It made me realize that there's nothing. Being a real man is being able to give another man a bunch of flowers. It's being able to really enjoy working with flowers, being able to wear a pink shirt. I remember him walking around sometimes with this lovely big pink shirt, and a floppy hat, whatever you want. He was just a fantastic character, a real treasure to have amongst, and everybody loved him. Everybody there loved him. And he would have great stories. And it continued after that. After I finished working there, and I was just working at different places, and I bumped into him one time, and he was driving this little bakkie, and he had I think he just started his own gardening company, and I thought, perfect, oh wonderful, and I was congratulating him, and And he asked how I was doing, and he was really interested to know what was happening with me. And I said, well, yeah, I'm fine. I've got this other job, but I'm looking for somewhere to stay now. I'm staying with my sister at the moment. And he said, oh, I know a great place for you. There's this lady just down in Craighall, and she would be great to. I'll go and speak to her. And here's her number, and you give her a call. She's got a little cottage at the back of her property. I do her garden. It'd be great for you. Perfect place. And so I did. I just thought, well, I'll give it a try. He was so confident, and I just thought, well, I'd been knocking around so many different places, and I phoned this lady, and she was like, yes, Johan told me about you. Yes, come on down, come and have a look. And I literally got the place same time as I got there. I think just from his recommendations and what he'd said, and the joy and just genuine love in her eyes for this man. And as when I was living there, then it was again, he would still come and do her garden, and obviously the garden around me. And so we'd get together, have chat, and I'd put the reggae music on for him, and he would do the garden, do this little skip dance, and we just used to just laugh. He made me laugh so much. What a character. He had that twinkle in his eye. I always remember that, especially when we were at Sharp together. You knew that he'd either done something or he was about to do something. This little twinkle in his eye. And I started to recognize that. And Johan, what are you up to, mate? Fantastic man. It's a joy and a pleasure to have him as a friend. And I thank everybody for the wonderful things they said, and may his wonderful soul rest. Yeah, that's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Manasseh. One thing about Johan is he did like a good Skinner. Could go and visit him, and then he'd love a good gossip, and and he knows everyone and everything, and connecting. I'm sure people are sitting here thinking, who's this Joseph bloke? Where does he come? Yeah, you had such a rich friendship and relationship. Okay. Yeah. All right. So the floor is open, for want of a better word. If anyone would like to say anything, and then towards the end, we'll have a poem from Mark. Mark, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here, Dave.
Okay, great. There's quite a turnout here, which is just testimony. Would anyone like to say anything? If you just like to unmute, and there's no right or wrong. These things are complicated.
Hi, can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, it's Johan Haasbroek. I was with Johan for most of my high school, and primary school career. And we had a wonderful friendship throughout school, and we had great competitions, running against one another cross country. Always competitions after rugby. We had clay lat up in Gardens, and a lot of other friends here on this group will be able to testify to that. We had some great fun, but I had such a shock when I could just not believe what I was told, and I had to share one or two little things as I'm doing now. And all I want to say is, Johan, I'm so sad. Shit. But thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And I do remember Johan's competitive streak in him. Can you all still hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, David.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
I haven't really thought about, what to say. It's a difficult one. I think without knowing, I think we were most probably the same age when we met Johan. I never knew that. So at the age of 13 is when I met Johan, and he was such a strong boy, brave boy. When I look back at it, at the photos, and I just realize how young and innocent we all were. And he was as Johan Haasbroek just said, competitive soul, rugby player, all the brave guy, strongman stuff that he did. But we all that really knew him knew that he just had a heart of gold, soft heart. When I think of Johan, I always just think of his love for animals. I mean, there was Polani that we all knew. And then there was Bas, I mean, the big custody battle with Bas. And I mean, that dog loved Johan so much that he would actually escape at night and go down to the Stag's Head to go and look for Johan and find Johan. So, I mean, Johan's connection went beyond people. He had the same connection with animals. And I think animals could just feel the love that he had and the person that he was. And I can just say today, I am so fortunate that as you and everyone else, I have been given the opportunity to spend so many years with him, get to know him. He was the person that barely 6 months ago spoke me through Dubai airport, where I was in transit after my stepdad passed away and my mum was taken up in hospital. He was the one that kept me on the phone whilst I was flying, talking to me, saying to me, it's okay. When I landed, ready to help, stand by me. He was just, Johan would put anything and everything down to be there for people that was in his life and that mattered, and even for strangers and individuals. Johan is one of the few people I know that still pick up hitchhikers. I mean, what an insane thought. But he was there himself. And, he just, before I start babbling, I just want to say that he's left his mark on my life and many other lives, and the window is open and the love will continue to flow. Because I think Johan's biggest gift that he gave to life was love, and that people could understand what an unconditional love was, a love without expecting something back, a love without having to conform to be a special type of person, fitting into a specific type of mold. And he mastered that very well. And I love him a lot for that. And he will always be part of my life. And I'll miss him dearly.
Thank you, Yolanda. The memories of Polani and the dogs really touched my heart as kids as well, playing around. And this isn't an English remembrance, huh? Bring in any language.
May I say something?
Yeah, sure. There we go.
I met Johan 25 years ago. Sure, at a place called Avalon, and I was so extremely scared of him. Sure, he was so raw, so was I so raw. But we actually created a beautiful friendship in a tree. I had a hammock and I spent the week sleeping in this tree, and the next minute I knew this guy had pitched up his hammock next to me, and yeah, we spent time in that tree together and a beautiful friendship started. Johan was a very big part of my recovery over the last 25 years. Sure, we weaved in and out of each other's lives, but every now and then I'd get this pop-up message from Johan or a phone call out of the blue asking how I am or where I am. We spent many years at Russell's Valley together, many years on the dance floor, many years in this recovery and just walking this beautiful path. I met Roz through Johan. When he first told me about Roz, I was like, where did you meet this girl? And he told me, and I was like, oh, red flags, red flags. And then I met Roz, and it was just such a beautiful, beautiful thing, Roz. He really loved you, and I'm really grateful for the time that you played a part in his life. And then Anna came along, and it was like Johan just blossomed. He really did. Sure, I've recently moved to Cape Town, to the Western Cape, and myself and Johan had made contact again. And I was meant to go meet up with him, and I've just come back to Joburg for a month when I heard the news. And it broke my heart because I put that meeting off until I returned back now in February. But I'll always remember Johan for his laughter and just his craziness and the beautiful gardens and the flowers and just the creative, beautiful individual that he was with this really, really big heart. I've lost a friend like all of us, someone who I thought would always weave in and out of my life, and he will. And I hope wherever Johan is, that he's surrounded by the scent of all those sweet flowers that he planted over these years, and just color and light. And my deepest condolences to everybody. Thank you for putting this group together. It's been amazing just to witness and read and see all the photos and just how many lives Johan really did touch. He was a special guy. He is a special guy. And I just pray that his memory just lives in all of us and that we can open our hearts to each other and to the world, just like Johan did, even in his darkest times. He always had space for other people. Thank you.
Thank you, Candice.
David, can you hear me?
Yes, Trevor.
Yo. And if I'm visible to everyone.
Go for it.
Can you see me? Yeah?
Yep.
Awesome. I'm up here. Some of you might recognize where I am now.
There you are. Great.
Yeah, up here on Tafi's, this part of the road is actually close to vehicles at the moment. I come up here on my bike. So that was, there's not really much I can add to what everyone else has said about Johan's character and his love of his family and dogs. I just miss him because we used to spend so much time together over the last 40 years, I guess, in the mountain. And David, you reminded me that he liked to skinner. Yeah, he liked to skinner, especially about you. And I think Thomas was another one we liked to skinner about, definitely Rail. I don't know if you guys are all there, but many others as well. And I used to spend as much time as I could with Johan up on the mountain. Sometimes 2-3 times a week, we'd come up here. And he loved to tell me the Latin names of plants, but I always ragged him and said that it was like a standing joke that he was making those names up, that they didn't exist. But I'm sure I'm sure they were the real names of plants. So around this time of the year, we would have been up probably at the aqueduct, looking for geysers. And I'm just going to finish off by saying that every time I'm going to be on the mountain now, I'm going to be thinking about you. I love you, bro.
Thank you, Trevor. Big gulp. Fuck. Was that Buttbrook? Is there anyone else who would like to say anything?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, who's that?
I'm not sure if my name's Jan.
Hi,
Firstly, apologies for the Australian accent. I've lived here for quite some time, so my Aussiness has rubbed off a bit. I knew Johan from primary school. We met quite early when he moved to Cape Town. We quickly became very good friends. He lived up in Marmion Road. I lived down in Sidmouth Avenue, just across from the Oranjezig Bowling Club. And we spent quite a bit of time at each other's houses. We spent a lot of time up in Van Riebeek Park. We'd go up there, swim in the stream. At a certain point, he got this really amazing ketty. We always had the wooden ones, but then I think for one of his birthday parties, he got this one that was like black rubber, and it had this piece that went over his arm, and you could shoot these big metal balls. And we went up into Van Riebeek Park, we're going to hunt tarantaal. And we spent a whole day up there. And luckily, we didn't get lucky. There were 2 other times at primary school where we hatched a plan. I think this was in standard 5 to bunk off school. So both of us in the morning had our school clothes on, and we each had a little bag. In our school bag, we had our civvies and our swimming trunks. And we left home and said, bye, Ma. And we met up somewhere in Oranjezig, and we went up and spent the whole day up in the mountain. And that's before they chopped all the trees off up there. There was still quite a forest canopy. And I remember the stream coming down there. There are a couple of places where the water sort of went over the rocks into like a mountain pool, and we just take all our clothes off, fly down. And then when it was like, I don't know, 3 o'clock or something, like, oh shit, school's going to finish. Better get dressed again. And then just walk into our house and say, hi, Mom. And then for a little while, we were little teenage delinquents. I would go to his house, and we would go out at night. And he said he wanted his whole wall covered in burglar alarm signs. So we would roam through the neighborhood, carefully removing all these burglar signs from fences and walls. And I think in the end, we had like 14 or 15 of those signs up on his wall. As was Johan's nature, sometimes we had to push the boundaries a bit a few times. The next level was we would go around and let the air out of tires. We would just roam through Oranjezig and just blow down tires. And I remember once we hatched a plan that we would go out at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I remember in my bedroom, I created this kind of fake body under my duvet, like just blankets and stuff. And I was going there, when is Johan coming? And long story short, I fell asleep. So when he walked all the way down from Marmion, he knocked on my window, and I didn't wake up. And he was so angry with me. I remember he was at least a month or 2, he didn't talk to me. And I would get these messages through third parties, like another guy would come and say, Dippy says he wants to meet you after rugby this afternoon and fight. I'm like, this guy's twice my size. I'm not going to fight him. And eventually he calmed down, and we became friends again. And I remember I smoked my first cigarette with Dippy as well, just below Gardens Rugby Field, where there was like the edge down in the bushes. He said, do you want to have a smoke? And I was like, fine. And I still remember he took this packet out and don't know if anyone who's smoked remembers these like Craven A, or these long, thin menthol kind of cigarettes. And that was my very first cigarette. We sat there puffing in the bush on this I'm like, oh, this tastes like shit. I can't believe anyone would like this. After primary school, we sort of lost touch a bit in high school because he sort of started mixing with other people. But after school, in the 90s, I sort of met him a few times at the shack up in Zonnebloem, where we would be, drinking. And sometimes he was good, sometimes he was not so good, but it was always good to see him. And I'm so thankful that the last time I was in Cape Town 3 years ago, we caught up and we had a beautiful hike up on the campsite side for about 7 hours with Trevor. Sorry, Trevor, I can't remember your partner's name, but the 4 of us and the dog went up looking for Deezas, and we really reconnected and just spoke nonstop for like 7 hours. And was a really good memory to have, that we kind of reconnected. So I just want to say to all his family and friends, I'm so sorry. I'm really sad, and he was a good friend, and I'm gonna miss him. Thank you.
Thank you, yeah. Okay. Maybe we've got time for one more, just before we start to kind of bring this to an end. And yes, go for it.
Hi, I'm Ross. Thank
Hey,
you,
Ross.
David and Co. Howdy, howdy. Thank you, David and Co. for putting this together. Yeah, it was such a shock. I couldn't believe it. I chat with. I live
Ross.
in Kenya. I chat with Johan every now and then on Messenger, and like every few months. And I got a message from him on Wednesday at about midday. So like when I heard that later that day had passed, I just couldn't believe it. It was like, this can't be. It was just so shocking. Yeah, I came from Johannesburg to Cape Town, and I think Johan was the only Cape Townian friend I made. And usually, if you come from Johannesburg, you tend to gravitate toward other people who've come from Johannesburg. So Johan was the exception, and but he was just such a like remarkable, loving person. I think it was Roald Dahl said that like of all the human qualities, the most sort of the best one is kindness. And Johan was, I think, one of the kindest people I've ever met. He was remarkably kind. He would take the shirt off his back for you. I often used to forget turning off my lights in my car. And so my battery, I got my car broke down so many different places. I just phoned Johan, he would always be there like that. When I moved to Kenya, I had 2 African grey parrots, and it was looking like I wasn't going to be able to get them here. And like he came to me one day and said, I've been thinking about it, and I'll take your parrots if you can't get them. Like, yeah, which is a super big responsibility. Yeah, like from the moment I met Johan, we just hit it off. He was one of those people that you could tell within like 30 seconds that you were going to be friendly with this guy. We just connected on many levels with whatever, arts, philosophy, music, nature. We both love nature. And his stories, and some people have mentioned he was a brilliant raconteur. Like you could tell that he could spin a yarn, and told me all these funny stories about Niverus, not Niverus, what was it? Elias Rus, where he used to work. These like hilarious stories. Like you could write a TV series for Netflix based on Johan's tales. I once we were me and my wife, we were in Witstrand, and it was a bit underwhelming. And he was at a festival nearby, so I phoned him and we're going to meet up in. I said, "Oh, we're at Witstrand," and he said, the first prize is 1 week in Witstrand. The second prize is 2 weeks in Witstrand," which always cracked me up. And what else? Like other people have said, he seemed to know everybody. I guess he'd lived in City Bowl for like a large part of his life. So we'd be having a coffee on the pavements or wherever, and like people would walk past, and then you'd say, "Oh, that guy's name's Pete, blah blah blah, and he did this and this and this." And you would like there were so many of those stories. It was like having like a whole ethnography of Cape Town. He knew so much about everybody. Yeah, so it's a great loss. He's just such a amazing person. I loved him dearly, and I wish there were more people like him in the world, to be honest. He's just a very forthright guy, very open, very honest, and like a kind and open in a sense that I guess most of us aren't. He would probably talk to anybody. He was open to experience, and he always had this like very infectious enthusiasm about life. And yeah, he's one of those people I could just call on any time, and he would be there for me. So, like all of you, I'm just deeply saddened by this, and yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay, so Mark. we hear your poem?
Hi, David. Hello, everyone. David put something out last night, and I knew he was dropped in the deep end, so being appropriate to read a poem at a memorial, I agreed to read a poem. It's from, I don't know if anybody knows John Cooper Clarke. This is a book my son bought me a couple of years ago, which is a autobiography rather than a book of his poems, which is a good read, and I suggest it to anybody.
Yeah, he's a punk rock poet, yes?
He is the punk rock poet. I looked through his poems last night at short notice, trying to pick one, and rather than trying to pick the most appropriate poem, I was going through seeing the least inappropriate poem I could do from Mr. Cooper Clarke. But here we go. This is Salome Maloney, Queen of the Ritz. I was walking down Oxford Road, dressed in what they call the mode. I could hear them spinning all their smash hits at the mecca of the modern dance, the Ritz. My feet fox-trotted, my shoulders did the shimmy. The bouncers at the door said a gimme, gimme, gimme. I gave them the tickets, they gave me the shits. No healthy arguments in the Ritz. Standing by the cig machine, who did I see? In Lorix and Terraline, she hypnotized me. I asked her name. She said it's Salome Maloney, Queen of the Ritz. Lacquered in a beehive, her barnet didn't budge. Wet looked lips, she smiled as sweet as fudge. She had a number on her back and sequins on her tits, satirical requirements of females in the Ritz. A man making like Fred Astaire, complete with spats and tails, a Douglas Fairbanks haircut, a dirty fingernails, whose snide innuendos was as subtle as the Blitz, waltzed off with Salome in his dirty little mitts. Standing in the dandruff light, trying to get pissed, amongst the head lice, Old Spice, brute and body mist, how can she be seen dead, dancing with that tit, her being Salome, El Supremo of the Ritz? Tables flew, bottles broke, the bouncers shouted lumber, the dummy got too chummy in a Bing Crosby number. The bouncer said it's suicide, trying to get your mitts on Salome Maloney, the Queen of the Ritz. When the ambulance came, she was lying on the deck. She'd fell off her stiletto heels and broke her fucking neck. The brand threw down their instruments, the management threw fits. She's dead. She didn't bring the business to the Ritz. The over 21s night said it was a shame. The divorcee club will never be the same. Joe Loss kicked himself and Vic Sylvester quit when the death dance drama did away with the Ritz. When the last waltz withered and the quick step stopped, the ladies' excuse me was permanently blocked. The Mecca makes a living selling little bits of Salome Maloney in the wreckage of the Ritz. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Mark, you're a legend. Johan is lying on the floor of heaven, rolling with laughter.
Now, I thought we'd play out with a song, and then the Ramones, It's a Wonderful Day, feels appropriate. And then we'll leave the room open and people can just share as a family and their friends come to terms of living with the grief as we journey on. I hope this works.
Thanks, David, and well done, mate. Thank you for putting that together.
So good.
What a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow are so pretty. The skies are also on the faces of people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, say, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I see babies cry while I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I say to myself, what a wonderful
Oh, okay, everyone. It's 9 o'clock here in the UK. My timing was pretty impeccable, even if I say so myself. uh, and yeah, so I'll leave the room open. I think I'll stop streaming and yeah, talk amongst yourselves in any way that you feel. Okay. Lots of love, everyone. Thank you.
Cheers,
Thank
David.
you,
Well done,
David.
mate. Thank
Thank
you.
you, David. Thank you,
Thank-
everyone.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you,
Bye.
David. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, David, and everyone.
Thank you.
Just so you know, we'll keep the
Thank you, David.
WhatsApp group going. So there'll be and so we can communicate around any official family memorial or something in Cape Town, planting of trees or gardens or whatever's going to happen. So we'll keep that going, and yeah, feel free to keep posting pictures as you feel fit.
Thank you, David. I have, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Johan was, as he used to say, Shua. He, he had so many sides to him, but he definitely had a big spiritual side to him as well. And I have his copy of the Prophet. And I will just read 2 paragraphs from this on death. It says, "For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountain top, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance." Dance well, Johan.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much, Rosie. Hello, Anna. We haven't even said hello yet. Thank you.
Okay.
Ik weet niet nog van die mensen. Duidelijk hoe hulle is net op alweer, so net sê op foon weg. That's people saying good one. Right. Such a no.
Johanna, you talking to us or?
I'm whispering sweet nothings to Ninka.
Okay, that's
Well, thanks a lot, David. I'm going to shoot off.
See you later, mate.
I'll see you.
David, thank you so very, very much for organizing this. It's really, really special.
It was a pleasure. Me and Trevor did it. We just kind of
Cool.
chatted and thought, well, we got to do something, and this is what we did. So, you know.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, if nobody's going to say anything, shall I just end the ceremony?
Yeah, we can connect up, obviously, via that group, which has been so supportive.
Okay.
That would be my feel.
All right. All right, wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And Anna, your father was fucking awesome. Excuse my language, but I really want to get that across to you. He impacted many, 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 many people. And be very, very proud of him. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, David. Bye, all.
Love you all.